Okay, this is the syllabus for Statistical Methods, Math 14 for the spring of 2021. The catalog description. This course is an introduction to descriptive and inferential statistics. Students learn how to use measures of central tendency and dispersion among population samples to draw inferences about a population and to compare two or more populations. Discrete and continuous probability density distributions are analyzed, including the binomial, normal, student t, chi-squared, and f distributions. Confidence intervals for population means, proportions, and variance are determined. Additional topics include regression and correlation analysis and techniques of hypothesis testing, including analysis of variance, also known as ANOVA. The course includes application of technology for statistical analysis and the interpretation of the relevance of statistical findings. Applications use data from disciplines that include business, social science, psychology, life science, health science, and education. And there's your prerequisites for this course. It's 4 units. We meet online. The location of the class is online. I am your instructor, F. Anthony Siciliano. My email is fsiciliano@cmccd.edu. On campus, I'm in room 212. But you'll find me on Zoom. There are my office hours. Student office hours are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. However, if those times don't fit with your schedule, please, email me if there's a time that we can both agree on. If you need any help, we can do that. You just need to send me an email, and maybe we can communicate a time that we can meet. This is the meeting ID on Zoom that you'll use. Now, talking about student office hours. Student office hours are for your benefit to help you succeed in the course. Office hours are for you, the student, not for me, as I am available at those times not only to discuss the course, but any questions you have about math courses at the college, your field of study, your transfer plans, and career paths. The best way to reach me is email and must be your student email account. Always include your name and the course, meaning your section number as well. All email contact between students and instructors must be conducted using the student and instructor's CMC email accounts. For students, this is accessible via the MyCMC portal on the CMC website. Any student email received by faculty from another email account cannot be responded to other than to remind the student to use their school email account. Please also keep in mind that grades cannot be distributed by phone, public posting, public announcement, or by email. If you do want to discuss grades, then we can set up an appointment time to meet on Zoom. Now, the textbook is optional because an electronic version of the textbook is available in my stat lab. You do not have to purchase a textbook unless you choose to do so. What is required is the access code for my stat lab with an online text. Sullivan Woodbury, this is Interactive Statistics Informed Decisions Data, 2nd edition, which is also available in the bookstore, or you can find it online in the My Stat Lab website. You also have a guided notebook to accompany Interactive Statistics, which is available for free and downloadable on Canvas. Now, again, what is required is the My Stat Lab, so you have to register for My Stat Lab on the very first day. There is a 14-day temporary passcode. After the 14 days, then you have to purchase the My Stat Lab for the remaining of the semester. Now, class participation. Optimal learning requires student participation in the online classroom as appropriate to the classroom activity. Participation includes such as responding to questions posed, actively contributing to the group discussions, and completion of assignments. The instructor will attempt to ensure all students have opportunities to express ideas, contribute to discussions, and receive additional information and clarification as needed. Instructor communication, information, participation, guidelines, and feedback policy. Students are encouraged to send an email anytime 24/7. You can call my office or leave a voicemail message. If I'm going to be away for an extended period and know in advance, I will let you know in the announcement section of our course in Canvas. However, my policy is that I will usually respond within 12 to 24 hours except on weekends. Each week, I will provide grades or scores and comments on assignments within 4 to 6 days of when they were submitted. After I send feedback each week, you will receive notification through your email or in a classroom announcement that feedback has been sent. Check grades for your feedback scores. As your instructor for this course, My goal is to facilitate your learning, answer your questions, and encourage your participation. I will respond in a timely manner and on a consistent basis. I will provide feedback in discussion forums, chats, and in the Q&A section of each unit you may want to discuss. I will provide feedback on posts, responses, and assignments as appropriate in between 12 to 24 hours, except on weekends. So here are some examples of feedback responses. I'll just say the first one: I'm enjoying your comments and especially the replies and threads that are forming. Keep up the great work. So those are some of the things that you may see when you look through the comments, but that's something that you can look for and see as you go along through the course. Your grading. Your grade in this class will be determined as follows. You have interactive reading, homework, quizzes, which is 20% of your grade. You have 2 projects, which are worth 10% of your grade. You have stat talk discussion questions, there are 6 of them, which are 10% of your grade. Exam 4, which is 40% of your grade. And final exam, parts 1 and 2, both need to be completed and are mandatory at 20% of your grade. Now, attendance. All students are expected to log in and complete some work at least once a week. Each week without work is considered absent from 2 class meetings. A student who adds a class or registers after the first day of classes is counted absent from all weeks missed. In the effort to promote student success, CMC has approved the implementation of an instructor-initiated drop policy. When a student has been absent from classes to such an extent that his or her success is at risk, the instructor has the option of dropping a student. If a student has missed 12.5%, 5 classes or 2.5 weeks of the semester without notifying the instructor with a satisfactory explanation, the student may be dropped by the instructor. This calculation includes absences occurring during add and drop period. As a result, you will negatively impact your group mates' grades if you fail to fully participate in each group discussion in a timely manner. Less than full participation in this course is extremely disruptive to the online learning model. So I reserve the right to drop you if, 1, you do not complete the online orientation by earning 100% on the orientation assignment. You will have as many attempts as you need. Number 2, you fail to make any progress for 4 or more consecutive days, including weekends. Number 3, you do not fully participate in 3 or more group discussions. Number 4, you fail to take the final exam, parts 1 and 2, as scheduled in class. Per the college's attendance policy, faculty has a right to develop a more stringent policy as well. Students who do not attend or participate in class by the deadline to drop for tuition refund may be deleted from the course. In this class, we function as a team, teaching and learning together in small groups that are reorganized from one module to the next. However, if you quit participating in this class, you should not assume that I will drop you. Should you choose to drop, ultimately it is your responsibility to officially withdraw. Materials. Now there's 2 materials that you can use, and you will see lecture videos on both of these items. A calculator will be a necessary tool for this course. Only devices that are specifically math calculators will be allowed for tests. Cell phones, laptops, etc. are not allowed, and each student must have their own calculator. Text, notebook, pencil, and a good attitude are also necessary. Work must be completed in pencil. A Texas Instruments TI-30 is an excellent non-graphing calculator that will be sufficient for homework and exams and is limited, but useful statistic capability. A graphing calculator is recommended but not required. A Texas Instruments TI-83 or 84, both have plus models with additional memory, are good graphing calculators that have extensive statistical capability. The TI-83 and 84 are considerably more expensive than a TI-30 but are not required. Now, in the class, I do go over the TI-83, 84 during the lectures. So it is part of the course. They are part of the videos that are also within the textbook publisher. So I do go over those as far as the calculator is concerned. Now, the next part, we have StatCrunch. Now, StatCrunch is a statistical software package. Okay, it's kind of similar to like Excel, but it's included in your subscription for My Stat Lab. So this isn't something that you have to pay for extra. Okay, but this is a great tool that you can use if you do not want to use the calculator. Again, I go over all the instructions on how to use StatCrunch for each of the problems. Now, we will be using this data analysis package, StatCrunch, in this course. StatCrunch is an online data analysis tool and much more. The URL for the program is www.statcrunch.com. included in your subscription to MyLab Statistics is StatCrunch. So we will be using StatCrunch to obtain statistical results. In addition to that, you will also be generating graphs when you're doing your projects. So it's really important to really understand and learn how to use StatCrunch. Course grading and information. This is an asynchronous course, which means you will complete your work online and your own schedule by the required deadline provided. This course is delivered through an online course management system called MyStatLab. Registration for MyStatLab is required on the first day. There is an option of signing up for a 14-day temporary passcode. Within MyStatLab, there is the online and interactive text. Since the website does not have a physical textbook to access, I have provided an online text in a PDF format located in the modules on Canvas. Each chapter of the text that we are going to study has 3 parts described below. Registration and video instructions are located on Canvas. So the assignments are graded automatically by the website and synced to Canvas. Now before I move any further, when we talk about MyStatLab, you have to register through Canvas, not through the actual website. So there is a video located on Canvas with specific instructions on how to register for MyStatLab. Now, if you do encounter an issue, a lot of the times what the issue is your browser. So my suggestion is maybe use Firefox or Google Chrome. If you use Safari, when you try to log in, it may say that you don't have an account, but that's not the case. It's because it doesn't really work well with Safari at times. So you really need to be careful when you're registering that you're using the proper browser when you're going through that. Now, as the course structure, this is how it's designed. Part 1, what you do is interactive reading assignment called IRA. The IRA is where the course content is delivered to you via reading assignments, video presentation, examples, also with video solutions, interactive activities, and assessment questions. You earn points by watching videos and completing the activities. You begin each section by working through the IRA and filling in the guided notebook, which you'll be able to see below. Some of the IRA's examples will have multiple video solutions. In this case, you should watch the StatCrunch and or the TI-8384 plus video solutions. Part 2, once you've completed, let's say the interactive reading assignment section 1.1, then you're going to proceed to part 2, which is the section homework. So upon completion of the section's IRA, you should jump to the section's homework. So for example, in chapter 1, you should begin with section 1.1 by reading the IRA and then proceeding to the 1.1 homework. Now, in order to move from the IRA in a section to the online homework for the section, you must get at least 70% on the IRA, the interactive reading assignment for that section. So in other words, for example, to do the online homework for section 1.1, you must receive at least 70% for the IRA for section 1.1. Problems can be worked on until a correct answer is obtained. So you can keep retrying it until you finish it. Now, there may be a couple problems where you're going to have to make sure you get the answer correct on the first try, but what I've put in each of the modules are homework lecture videos that are similar to what you see in the IRA and in your homework. So my suggestion is take a look at those if you feel like you're not really getting a grip of that particular problem, so you have something to reference. Now in part 3, you have the end of the chapter review quiz. So after every chapter, there is a quiz that you're required to complete. Each of the quizzes are located at the conclusion of each chapter and included in your overall grade. So all assignments above parts 1, 2, and 3 are located on MyStatLab and are due the day of the exam. Please review the late penalty policy further below in the syllabus. Stat Talk discussion questions. For some weeks, you will be required to answer discussion questions located on Canvas. Sometimes you may have to refer to a video located on MyStatLab. Statistician Andrew Vickers takes to the streets of Brooklyn, New York to demonstrate important statistical concepts through interesting stories and real-life events. This series of videos will help you understand statistics. After viewing each video, you are required to respond to 2 initial responses to a discussion question and at least 2 reply comments to your peers or to your own initial response posted throughout the week. You should respond in complete sentences and in your own words. You are expected to answer all of them and get most of them correct. Any mistakes should be corrected once you have reviewed the posts of the instructor and your peers. You must post your initial thread and replies before the deadline. Description of each discussion question is in the modules on Canvas. Now, there is a rubric for the discussion questions. Now, if you're posting at the right before the deadline and not giving your classmates an opportunity to respond, you will be penalized for that. So you want to make sure that you're starting the discussion at the beginning of the week as you move along. So you're noted here which weeks there are the Stat Talk discussion questions. There are 6 of them. Now, projects. You are required to do 2 applied real-world data analysis projects. The first project is a data analysis comparison report where you collect, analyze, and compare 2 quantitative data sets. The final project will be to collect and analyze data and perform a research hypothesis test to answer an important question about the world around us. For both projects, you will make PowerPoint slides to explain your results and findings. See the tentative schedule for the due dates. Description of each project are in the modules on Canvas. Now, when you go to the project assignment on Canvas, I've put in a video that describes how to be able to complete the assignment. It has the rubric also in there. So it's really important to make sure that you're viewing the video, and also there are also examples of projects that were completed in the past. So you have something to kind of reference, but just please make sure that you're watching the video and you're answering all the questions for those particular projects. Exams. There will be 4 online exams plus a comprehensive mandatory final exam, parts 1 and 2. All exam passwords are located at the beginning of each module of the week of the exam. The final exam can replace your lowest test score using the following approach. It is my policy to replace a student's lowest test grade with the final exam at the end of the course, provided that it is higher than one of your lowest exam scores. For this reason, I do not give makeup tests. A missed test will be recorded as a 0 and then replaced accordingly at the end of the semester. Missing the final will also result in a 0, and I do not drop this grade. The instructor has the right to adjust this policy under special circumstances. You must complete both final exam part 1 and 2. So please make note there are no exceptions for exams and no extensions, please. So you can see here that there are deadlines for the exams. You can see when they are noted here. So please make sure that you plan in advance as to know when you need to complete the exam in addition to the final exam. Now, due dates, late penalties, and technical difficulties. All interactive homework, quizzes, review assignments, and stat discussion questions have the following late penalty policy. Student submitted work for course assignments after the due date are subject to a penalty of 5% of the points possible for the assignment per day. That means for each day passing after the due date. So for example, submissions posted after the due date within 24 hours of the date the assignment is due will be penalized 5% of the potential value of the assignment. Submissions posted between 24 and 48 hours after the due date may be penalized up to 10%, and etc. So due dates will not be extended because of technical difficulties. The deadlines on these assignments are not extended, and you must make plans to complete those. Due dates for online assignments are clearly stated in my stat lab. Now, all the due dates are due on the day of the exam. So you have up until that point to complete your assignments. You do not want to wait up until then. That is the reason why there aren't any extensions. Anytime after that, you can still work on those assignments, but again, as I stated here, there's a 5% penalty for each day as you complete your assignment. Homework, study tips, homework videos, guided notebook. This is an activity manual located on Canvas that you can access, download, and print. This is a place where you can take notes on the information given in the interactive reading assignment lectures by filling in all the information from the slides in a notebook. This will be a valuable resource for you as you work through the online homework assignment for each section, as well as the quizzes and tests over the corresponding material. Pay close attention to the homework videos located on Canvas. This will be helpful to you as you move along with your homework assignments. Next, student learning outcomes. Upon successful completion of the class, The student will be able to describe, graph, calculate, and analyze statistical quantities and concepts including data types, levels of measurement, sampling strategies, frequency distributions, parameters, and descriptive statistics. Determine the probability of an event. Use various distributions to estimate parameters for populations using samples and formulate and test a hypothesis, including ANOVA. Analyze and make predictions for paired data using the linear correlation coefficient, linear regression, standard error, prediction interval, explained variation, unexplained variation, and total variation. So all these outcomes will be assessed by questions on the quiz, test, and final exam throughout the course. Now, as I stated, there's two parts to the final exam. The first part is going to be the student learning outcome exam, and then you have the second part. And again, both of those are mandatory for this course. Now, students with disabilities access. Students with disabilities, whether physical, learning, or psychological, who may need academic support in the classroom are encouraged to contact Access as soon as possible to ensure that appropriate accommodations and/or services are implemented. Further information about this program may be found on the Copper Mountain College website and in the Office of Student Services at the Access counter. So please visit the CMC's Access website located there, or you can call that particular number and that extension. Military-friendly statement. Veterans and active duty military personnel with special circumstances, such as upcoming deployments, drill requirements, or disabilities, are welcome and encouraged to communicate these in advance if possible to myself. Equal opportunity statement. Copper Mountain College is committed to equal employment opportunity for all persons and to provide educational and employment opportunities free from discrimination on the basis of ethnic group, identification, national origin, religion, age, veteran status, sex, race, color, ancestry, sexual orientation, or physical or mental favors, and other physical or verbal conduct for communication constituting sexual harassment. Disclaimer. Changes in curriculum, grading standards, and other requirements could change as necessary. It is the student's responsibility to know and understand all policies, procedures, and requirements for Copper Mountain College and this class. Any concerns should be directed to your instructor, the appropriate department chair, or college administrator in that order. Information in the syllabus is subject to change, so any important changes will be announced in class and you'll be provided with an updated syllabus. Okay, so located here is the tentative schedule. So this is what you really want to pay close attention to. It's also located on Canvas. For example, if you look at the first week, you can see here that the first day of class starts January 29th and the Sunday ends on February 7th. You can see here there's a due date. You have the orientation assignment, which is due February 3rd at 11:59 p.m. and the introduction discussion, which is due February 7th. Now, the orientation assignment is an assignment that you answer questions according to everything that's on the syllabus. The introduction discussion is basically introducing yourselves with a few questions. You will see that on Canvas. Now, in the middle of the schedule, you can see all the sections that are covered for that week. So this should give you an idea of what you should be completing for each week. Now again, as I stated earlier, do not wait until February 28th, where your exam 1 is, to do all the assignments. Because again, you'll have the 5% late fee deducted after that. So you want to make sure that you're completing your assignments. And then everything else you can see when everything else is due as you look at the tentative outline. Now it could change depending on it. More than likely it won't, but if it does, I will let you know. And then here you have your online classroom communication. This is the Netiquette, the ground rules for online discussions. So please make sure that you're viewing that and looking through that as you're viewing the syllabus. And the last thing I want to discuss is the statement on plagiarism and academic misconduct. Academic misconduct includes, but is not limited to, the following actions: cheating on an examination or quiz, either giving or receiving information, copying information from another person or graded assignments, using unauthorized materials during tests, collaboration during examinations, buying, selling, or stealing examinations, arranging a substitute for oneself during examinations, substituting for another person, or arranging such a substitution. Plagiarism, the intentional or accidental presentation of another's words or ideas. Collusion with another person or persons in submitting work for credit in class or lab, unless such collaboration is approved in the advance by the instructor. Now, from the Latin word plagiarist, kidnapper, refers to the unacknowledged use of another person's words, ideas, or information. Rewriting, paraphrasing, summarizing, putting a passage into one's own words without recognizing the original source are still plagiarism. Credit must be given to the author or creator. Plagiarism may carry serious consequences, resulting in course failure or expulsion. Please refer to the Students' Rights and Responsibilities section of the Copper Mountain College catalog. The following are examples of plagiarism: copy and pasting text from CD-ROMs, copy and pasting text from websites, transcribing text from printed materials such as books, magazines, encyclopedias, or newspapers, modifying, capturing, printing, or scanning any text, replacing words in the text using a thesaurus, using copyrights, trademarks, patents, speeches, and artistic creations without permission or acknowledgement, using photographs, images, video, or audio without permission or acknowledgement, using another student's work and claiming it as your own, even with permission. Translating text from a foreign language does not constitute original work and falls under the guidelines for quotations, summaries, and paraphrasing. Now, faculty members who have reliable evidence of academic misconduct will 1. Investigate the matter, and 2. Review the facts of the matter and the proposed penalty with the appropriate academic dean. They may then take one or more of the following actions: require the work to be accomplished again, give no credit for the test, paper, or exercise, assign a grade of F or W for the course. And then the last page here just gives you a summary of all the topics that we're going to be covering. So again, here you can just take a look at that. And this concludes our syllabus for the spring of 2021.